Number one says Ramona deposited $6,000 at 5.5% interest compounded daily for 25 days. What's our principal?
6,000.
6,000. What's our rate?
5.5.
5.5%. You guys doing spectacular. Keep helping me this way all the way through these, all right? So I don't have to keep looking back at the book. And our time with daily, our time is sort of a little different. This time we're just going to say how many days is it? 25 days. Now, we could use that formula. I'm going to use this chart for several of these just so you can see how to use the chart. But we could use that formula that we had before. A equals P times 1 plus R divided by N to the N times T power. I think that's all right, isn't it? We could use that formula. And we'll plug it in for this one and we'll figure it out and then we'll see if the chart gives us the same answer. Then we'll start using the chart every time after that. What's our principal this time?
6,000.
6,000. We got 1 there, that stays the same. What's the rate? Change it. 0.055, good. And what's the N?
Would it be 25?
And that's where it changes. Because now we're not doing it quarterly or annually or semi-annually. We're doing it every day. Now, what that changes up here is it's going to give us crazy numbers through some of this. Up here, what's N? 25. I'm sorry, N's not 25. What's N? I wasn't paying attention to what I was doing. It's not 25. How many days are we splitting the year up into? 365. That should be 365 there. N is 365. Now our T is where the days come in. How many days out of the 365?
25.
So we do 25 over 365. Now that looks like something silly, right? What's going to happen with these 365s right here?
Cancel out.
They cancel out. So all you really have there is the 25. What do we do first on this? Do that division, 0.055 divided by 365. Hit enter.
0.0001.
Then what are you going to do?
Add
Plus 1. Hit enter.
Times by divide.
Then raise it to the, remember use the little caret, and raise that answer to the 25th power.
Okay. And it's times by 6,000.
Then you times it by 6,000.
6,022.64.
So how much is in the account now? $6,022.64. That's after 25 days, right?
Yes.
The other thing they asked us to find was the interest. How much interest did Ramona earn on her $6,000? $22.64. Those are our two answers that they wanted for this one. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to use the chart here. All right, try to see if we can use the chart. Because maybe with those, I don't think that's all that real difficult really. If you realize the 365s cancel each other out, but that may be confusing to some of you. So we'll use the chart. And what we're going to do on the chart, we got amount of $1 at 5.5% compounded daily. We look up here on the chart, and how many days are we going on? 25. So we look at 25. What's the number that goes along with 25? We take principal times the number from the chart. We're going to take principal times number from the chart. Let's write down principal. Everybody can figure that out. Then we go on the chart and you look at 25 days, what's the number next to 25 on the top of the chart there? 1 point.
1.00377.
That's how much a dollar earns in 1 day. That's what they're saying when they say that. Each dollar earns 1.00377. I'm saying that wrong. Each dollar doesn't earn that much. That's what a dollar is going to turn into after each day. Right. So there's 6,000 times that her dollars, each one of her dollars is going to turn into 1.00 that in terms of money. All right. So on a dollar, she's actually gaining about 1/3 of a penny each day. So for every dollar she puts in, she's gaining about 1/3 of a penny. That 377 there. All right. We multiply those. Multiplying, what do you get?
$6,022.62.
Anybody else get that?
6,022.
Did you get 62?
That's 64.
You got 64 again? I think when I did it, it came out 64 again.
I got 62.
62?
It was just 2 cents.
Pretty close, right?
Yeah.
So if you got 62, 64, probably either one of those. This is by using the formula. This is by using the chart. So chart's not all that difficult on the chart. You gotta know the principle. You gotta be able to find the number in the chart. That's what I'm going to use on most of these. All right, I'm just going to try to use the chart instead of setting up that formula each time. If you wanted to set up that formula every time because you don't have any trouble with it, am I going to mark it wrong when you get 0.64 and I get 0.62? No. Next one, number 2. Somebody help me out. What's number 2? What's principal? 6,000 again? You must be stuck on that number. What else?
The rate is 5.5.
Rate's 5.5%.
It just changed the days. 31 days.
So 31 days. So if we use the chart, I'm going to use the chart this time. What's our, remember, it's just P times the number from the chart. What's our principal?
6,000.
6,000 times, what's the number on the chart? 31 days, what's the number goes with that?
1.0068.
Now what I want you guys to understand, make sure you understand this, you're using this chart, because I'll guarantee if you go to some bank, they won't understand what this chart's telling them, a lot of them, all right? What you gotta understand is, her dollar, each one of these $6,000, or this person's dollars, I don't know if it's a her or him this time, it doesn't matter, but each one of their dollars is earning that amount of money per day. All right, Michael, you can take your hand away from there. I know you got that in your ear. That way you don't have to be uncomfortable.
Oh, it's comfortable.
Yeah, uncomfortable trying to hide it.
Paying attention.
I didn't. Did I say take it out of your ear?
No.
No, I said you can take your hand away. I already know it's in your ear. So they're earning, this right here is about a half a penny for every dollar they put in. So if they put in one more dollar tomorrow, the next day, how much are they going to earn on that extra dollar? About a half a cent again. So for every dollar they put in, they're earning this amount right here on each of those dollars. So if you got $5 in your pocket and you think, you know what, I ain't really got nothing to do with this $5, I'm going to go stick it in this account. That'd be all right. Then the next day, that $5 that you stuck in there would earn about 2.5 cents per day. After a while, is that going to build up pretty quickly? Yeah. All right. Somebody multiply this. What'd you come up with?
6,020.08.
Say it one more time. that's the amount. What else do we need to find?
Interest, and that's
$28.08. Most of these have been pretty easy to find the interest because you can look at it and see what it is over that 6,000, right? Some of you might have to take the principal minus, or the amount minus the principal. Everybody with me for those first two?
Yes.
Want me to hurry up so that you don't get so bored? All right. Number 3. Tell me the principal on this one.
Okay, 10,000.
10,000.
Interest rate is 5.5.
Does anybody notice anything about the interest rate?
It's the same.
It's 5.5 every time. Notice on our little chart here. What's the only interest rate? 5.5. So probably every one of these is going to be at 5.5. Now, does that mean every account in the world's at 5.5? No, that just means that they only wanted to copy off one chart for you instead of copying off 1,000 different charts for all the different percentages there could be.
The time's from March 3rd to June 21st.
So March 3rd,
Yes.
March 3rd to June 21st.
3 months, 18 days.
Now you got to be careful. What we have to do here is we have to find the actual number of days. All right? Something you could do, you could get out a calendar and you could start counting. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You could count all that.
30 days.
You probably don't want to do that. All right? This little chart down here helps you find the days. So what you do is you look March 3rd. March 3rd goes with what number? 62. So we're going to put 62, June 21st. Now you're going to have to count because you got to count down how many days? 21 on June, right? What number goes with that? 172. Now what we want to do with these two is we're going to turn them around and we're going to subtract them. What's 172 minus 62? 110. So how many days is the money in the account? 110 days. So that's how you use that bottom part of the chart to find your number of days so that you don't have to stop and count. All right? We probably want to, next time we'll remember, we want to turn those two around, right? So the end should come first and the beginning after that so we can subtract them. So now we're going to use our top chart here. What's our principal?
10,000.
10,000 times, we got to find our number that we're going to multiply that by. How many days?
30%.
So figure out 110. What's the number?
1.01670.
70.
Wait, so all you do is times?
Principal times the number off this chart. Now, could we use that formula still? The A equals P times 1, all that? Yeah. This is probably a little simpler once you get the hang of using the chart.
I like it more, but this is not one for every interest.
Right.
So,
101, wait, 1.
Before we go too far, for each dollar that I put in this account, how much is it earning?
Almost the whole.
$1, a little over
almost
$1.
a penny.
It's earning more than a penny, isn't
Yeah,
it?
that's
So it's earning about a penny and a half. So for every dollar I stick in here, it's going to earn about a penny and a half per day. All right? What do you get when you multiply those together? 67? Even? That's the total amount in the account now. That's the A. What's the interest going to be? $167. They earned $167
It just said,
over that 110 days.
So you just divide it.
Here, all we do is we take, how much did you invest? 10,000, subtract that from this, how much is left
Okay.
over? That's your interest.
I don't know why I said that.
So, if they earn $167 in 110 days, they're earning more than $1 per day
it
just
just
for
has
having that
for
money
the
here.
interest, so I just put the interest, so my answer's kind of smushed.
So, Oh, it just asked for the interest?
Yeah.
Oh, it did, didn't it? Yeah, we didn't need
So
to.
can I just put my interest?
Yep. Yeah, this one just asked for the interest. It didn't ask you for the amount this time.
I mean, you still gotta find the amount.
You gotta find the amount to subtract it, right? Number 4.
It's the same thing.
What is it?
No, it's not.
20,000?
Sure.
The numbers are different.
Rates 5.5 again.
So it's the same thing with interest.
How many days this time?
It says March 26th.
To July 24th.
July 24th, so July 24 to March 26th. Yeah, it's my birthday. So we go, let's find March 26th. What number goes with March 26th?
85.
85, everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
So we'll put 85 right here. What number goes with July 24th?
205.
Say it again.
205.
205, everybody agree with that?
Yeah.
We'll subtract those two.
120.
120. We'll use that on the chart. Do we have 120 days on the chart somewhere?
Yeah, 1.01823.
Where?
And we're gonna times that by the principal. What was the principal?
20,000.
20,000.
Where do you see those dates? Oh.
You just have to count down to 26 and 24. What do you come up with?
20,364.60 cents.
Say it one more time.
1,364.60
And this one just has for the interest also.
All right, so that's the amount.
So $364.60.
$64.60. So this one, it's in there for 120 days. We're actually earning about $3 per day. Because 3 times 120 is 360. So we're earning more than $3 per day on stuff in there. So you got that extra $5 in your pocket and you are going by this bank, might it be a smart idea to stop by there and say, hey, you know what? Let's throw that $5 in there. I ain't got nothing else to do with it. And for every one of those $5, you're gonna be earning that much, and that's gonna jack this up even more. So when you're thinking about it, when I was trying to think about starting an IRA here at school and trying to decide how much money to put in it, the more you put in it, the quicker it's gonna grow. Next one, number 5. Let's try to do some of these without me writing all this up here. Number 5, they tell us our principal is $80,000. So I'm just gonna write 80,000. We're gonna find the number. Oops, 80,000, not a decimal. We're gonna find the number and we're gonna times them. 25 days. Can we find 25 days on the chart? What's the number?
1.00377.
377?
Yeah.
Might multiply that.
80,301.60.
Is that right? If I ignore that stray mark?
So 301.60.
This time they actually wanted both answers, right?
That's the amount, right?
That's the amount. That's the interest. Amount, interest. Number 6, what's our principal?
3,800. And for the days, it's 1.01364.
Everybody agree with both those numbers?
Yeah.
Multiply them, what you get?
$3,851.83.
83.
Yeah.
So that's the amount that's in the account now. What's the interest?
$51.83.
Those are the two answers that go in there. Does it make sense that we only earn $51.83? Because we've been earning a whole bunch of money on these others.
But it's a lower amount.
Yeah, a lot smaller amount, right? $80,000 compared to $3,800, a lot smaller, you're going to earn less.
So September 12th to May 5th, and your
What's our principal for
15,321.
15,321? We gotta find the number from the chart. First, we gotta find how many days, right?
Yes, so September 12th through May 5th.
September 12th.
205.
255.
Yeah.
So we got 255.
May 1st, 1.
Might have to be careful on this one.
May 1st, 1.5.
So we got 255. But what's happening this time?
Minus 125.
Are we just gonna minus off the 125?
That would come out to 130.
Yeah. Because it's May 5th through September
Yes.
12th.
Oh, it's May 5th through September 12th?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said.
Well, I switched them for you because
All right,
they
all right, I
switch
understand
them.
now. So it's May 5th through September 12th. See, and I was thinking, because I didn't read the problem, I was thinking that we were starting in September and going to May. And if we start in September and going to May, then we gotta worry about starting the calendar year over again and dealing with the
Your
days that way.
days is 130, so 1.01977.
1.01977?
Yes. $15,623.89.
So that's our amount. What do you do to find the interest?
Subtract them.
That minus that, so if I do that.
302.89. Okay, so the next one, the principal is 10,500.
10,500?
Do you want me to switch them or just leave it?
It doesn't matter, I understand
Okay,
that.
I'm switching them.
All right.
December 20th to August 2nd.
December 20th to August 2nd, so we look at December 20th. What number is that?
354.
354?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then 214.
14. Subtract those.
140.
140.
It's 1.0213.
Now, look, how much are they earning on each dollar this time?
2 pennies. 2 cents.
Over 2 cents each for each dollar. So for every one of these $10,500 per day, they're earning 2 cents. So
And
for every
first-
dollar they stick in there.
10,730 or 23.65.
Say it one more time, 10,007.
723.75.
That's our amount, right? How much interest?
243.75.
Too difficult using the chart?
No, it's easier.
Think it's easier than that long formula?
Mhm.
I like the formulas.
You just have to get used to the chart.
You can just look at it and push it.
That's not what I meant to do. Number 9, right? June 10th. So we're gonna do June 10th. That's gonna be our second date probably, right? Write that down.
No.
Oh, we don't even need
31
it, do we?
days.
They just got 31 days in there, so we don't even need that.
Are we using the chart?
31 days, yep, we'll use the chart again. What's our principal?
$8,241.78.
78 cents?
Yes.
So that's our principal. We're gonna look up 31 days in the chart. 1.00468.
And then
88.
80.
80.
but I want to know the interest.
0.35.
31 days.
So that's our amount. How do we find the interest?
Subtract it.
Take that.
$38.57.
$38.57. Now, stuff like this on the test, is it gonna hurt on the test if you put down both those answers?
No.
Am I gonna mark it wrong?
No.
No, so that way you don't have to make sure that you read the question so carefully, you put down both answers. We gotta find them both anyway. Might be best to just write them both down. Number 10, Alexandra. 90 days this time, right?
Yes.
90 days, what's the principal?
1.013.
What's the principal?
28,214 and 35 cents.
28,214 and
35 cents.
35 cents times, now give me the number off the chart.
1.01364.
Now, somebody already mentioned, part of the problem with the chart is it doesn't have all the percentages. What else doesn't it have all of? All the days. All right.
28,599.19.
28,599.19. What they ask us for this time, amount or interest? Or both?
Interest.
Interest. So we gotta do what with that number? Subtract it, what do you get?
I got $70.99. Yeah.
70?
Yeah.
So 28,570?
Times 1.
So this should be 70?
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Yeah, I
so-
got 99.
You got 99?
Yeah, I got 99.
Let's try it again, punch it in. 28,214.35 times 1.01264 brings up another point. When you're doing this on the test, is it gonna hurt you to punch this in twice to make sure? It's pretty easy to hit a wrong button
Yeah,
somewhere.
I got
isn't it?
70.
Got 70?
I got 99.
I got 70. I'm blind.
I got 79.
The one, two.
70, so 28,570.19?
Yeah, I have more point
Oh,
97.
97?
Yeah.
I'm still getting the same answer.
I don't know, I got something totally different.
So what do you want? So what'd you guys say you couldn't read in my writing? Something
Oh,
looked like it?
I couldn't see the 2. I thought it was a 3. I misread it.
So we got 2, 8, 2, 1, 4
On the 1 point.
on that one.
Yeah.
8,
I missed
2,
it.
1, 4, 3,
It's a-
5.
Let me see it. So 2, 8, 2, 1, 4.35 times 1.01264.
Oh, I put an extra 0. Wait, no, I didn't.
You put a 3 instead of a 2.
Oh darn.
So it's,
How much interest if that's 28,570.97?
Hold on.
300.
I know, I'm getting ready to take my sharpener away from him.
$355.50.
$355?
Yes.
And how much?
50 cents.
Don't seem right.
I got $356.62.
I'm over it.
$356 and what?
62 cents.
So $356.62. Interest.
I'm done talking.
You'll be all right. So you've missed one problem in 10, and you're just gonna
356.
give up.
I got 355.82.
I got
Yeah.
356.6. I got 356.
Again, on the test, I'm gonna say this again, I don't know that any of you will do it, but when you're doing these problems, would it be helpful if you punched it in twice?
I typed it all in
Yes.
right. That's what I got. I got 355.82.
So you typed in
Oh my god.
Yeah.
2857
117.
0 point, that's a 9,
Oh. 97.
97.
17. That's what. Yeah. 36.
And then that one.
356. 62.
Why do I keep doing that? That's not what I want. That's what I want. Number 11. April 11th, George had $6,521.37. $6,521.37. That's his principal. 5.5% daily. How much interest we earn? June 30th. So this time we got to go from
181.
June 30th is 181,
Yes.
and April, what was the 11th?
11th is 101.
So it's 181 minus 101.
79.
80?
Yeah.
So 80 days. So find my number on the 80 days there.
1.01212.
Multiply those. $6,640.
Yeah.
That's what I got.
Now, this time again, they ask us for interest on this one. So what do we do with those two?
Subtract.
Subtract them, so the interest would equal,
79.
what is it?
I got 79.04.
That's what I got too.
79.04. So $79.04.
I mean, I got something wrong. I got something different for that amount. I don't know.
$79.
So punch it in again, Andrew, check it, 6521.37
$79.03.
times 1.01212.
This still got the same thing.
So you got something different than this 6,600?
Oh no, hold on. I got 6,600. Like 70 last time. I got 40 this time.
Okay.
My bad.
That's right. And I keep saying, it's gonna be best if you punch them in twice to make sure, right? Just to make sure. The other thing is, I sort of don't like these calculators because a lot of you know how to go, use the back arrow and look back at it. If you made the mistake once and you're looking back at the same stuff, guess what you're gonna do again?
Makes sense.
Make the same mistake. If you're looking right back at the same thing that you just punched in, you thought it was right the first time, you didn't punch it, you're not an idiot. You didn't punch it in knowing it was wrong, so you're gonna look at it and think that it's still right. So do it all over again. Go back over and do it completely again. Next one,
Your principal is.
hold on a second, I messed up there. Number 12. Principal is what?
32.19.
1,004.
Yes, 432.19. And then from October 1st to August 23rd,
So October to August, what's October's?
274,
274. August.
235, and that's 39.
Is that one of the numbers on the
Yes,
chart? Oh, it is on there.
39 is 1.00589.
589.
Mm-hmm.
This time they actually wanted the amount, so when we give this answer, we don't have to go back and subtract.
I got 1,440 and 62.
Anybody else agree with that?
What do you guys say?
The interest is $8.44.
We didn't need it this time.
So you just put down
The amount.
the.
The balance of the account. That's all they wanted this time, I think, that it said, what will be the amount in the savings account when it closes on October 1st? So that's all they wanted, $1,440.62. Number 13. Deborah's savings account showed a $904.31 balance on March 1st, the same day she deposited $375 to the account. She also deposited $500 on April 1st and May 1st. The bank pays interest at a rate of 5.5 compounded daily. What will the amount be in the account? What will be the amount in her account May 29th? Get all that?
Yeah.
What are we gonna have to do?
Add the deposit.
Now, can we just add the deposits and stick them right on the balance right now?
No, 'cause it's over time.
All right, because it's over time, so we're gonna have to
Calculate
calculate it, figure out how much she's got in there now, then add another deposit, calculate the new, add it on, and so on and so on, right?
Would we have to like know, like when the interest was due since she did it all different?
When they
Like,
add it
it's
on.
looked over like March, April, and May, it's like 3 months.
So when they add the interest on, well, they're doing it daily, so this is compounded daily, so they're putting it on there every single day. So let's start off with the first one. August 23rd, she had 1,400, no, I'm on the wrong problem. She had,
$904.31 on March 1st.
on March 1st, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what's it say she did?
The same day, she added 375.
So what are we gonna do with this?
Add,
So add 375 to that, what do you get?
529.31. Oh, 1,279.31. Yeah.
So that's how much, that's the principal in her account right now. All right? Now we're gonna move forward, and it says she earns 5.5, which all of these have been 5.5.
She deposited 500.
What would be 29 days? Until,
On March 1st, the
Yeah.
same day she deposited 375. She also deposited 500 on April 1st. So we need to go from March 1st to April 1st, right? And you're saying that's 29? So if we looked on our chart here and found it's 29, so now we need 29 days. What's the number for 29 days?
1.00437.
Oh, wait, it says 31.
It's 30.
This is 31.
1,200.
How many days is it?
31 days.
Oh, it's 31 days, so we need a different number?
I got 30.
Huh?
I had 30.
30?
Yeah, 121 minus 90.
March
One is
1st.
30.
April.
So let's do it. March 1st and April 1st, right?
Yeah,
So April 1st, what's April 1st? What's the number?
91.
91, what's March 1st?
121.
121, what's 121 minus 91?
That's May 1st, March.
My bad.
60.
Yeah,
It's 31.
60?
Yeah.
So it's 31 days?
Yeah.
Did we pick out the 31 day one, or we got a different number?
Yeah, that's it. It's 31. Oh, hold on.
You need to change that to a
6/8, isn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
6,
Alright, so that times that, what's that give us?
um,
$1,285.29.
whoa.
That's what I got.
85.29.
Yeah.
So this is the amount in her account as of April 1st, April 1. She goes there and looks at her bank account as of April 1. It's gonna have 1285.29. Are we in agreement there? So now we take that amount, that's our new principal. What are we gonna do with that new principal? What's it say that she does next?
Add 500.
She adds $500 to it. What's that give us?
$1,785.29.
So that's her new principal.
Thank you.
That's on April 1st, right? That's still on April 1st, because she went in there, she looked at her account, it had that in it, and she threw in another $500. So now we're at this, and we're still at April 1st.
And then you go to me.
Now we're going to May 1st, but before we do that, from April to May, we need to figure out the interest that she earned on this, right? So, April 1st to May 1st, April 1 to May 1,
It's 30 days.
30 days. So look up on your chart, 30,
1.00452.
what are you gonna do with those two? Multiply them,
1,793.99
99 cents. Now this is on May 1st, right? So she walks back into the bank on May 1st, looks at her account, how much money's in there? And they said that she does what? She adds another $500 to it. You get something different than that one? Anybody else get $17.93.99?
I got,
I got 35 cents. I got that, but not 99. I got 35 cents.
35 cents? Anybody else get that? Check it, let's see.
I checked it twice.
Somebody do it again, let's make sure.
Yeah, it's well, 95.
95?
35,
35.
35.
35?
7, 9.
So that's 35 there.
And you add 500 to that.
Add 500 to that.
$2,293.35.
Yeah.
Now what'd she do to the account? That's it? That's all she does to it? On May 29th. We went to May 1st, right?
Oh, yeah, so we got 28 more days.
So we got 28 more days there, don't we?
Yeah.
So we're gonna have to take this times, we need to find the number for 28.
1.
Now, hold on, before we do 28. May 1st to May 29th, is that 28 days? You might wanna look at it and make sure.
Let me count that day, so.
So May 1st is what? 30 days, right? So that's 31 days, I mean. So that's 31, 149. What's 149 minus that? 28? Alright, so we're alright. Michael wasn't sure. See, what is it?
That's kind of space stuff.
00422.
Yeah.
Might multiply those.
2,303 and 37 cents.
$1,303.37. Anybody else get that?
Hold on.
Let me check it again. I got all that but 2 cents.
I keep getting 37 cents. I got 2 cents. It's 2 cents.
Yeah, I got you.
2,303.
Yeah.
It's not what the book's got.
It has 5,
Maybe the book's wrong.
They got 5 cents.
but the chart could be off.
Or we could have, probably somewhere through here we rounded, right? Maybe we rounded a little too much at some point. Make sure your names are on those. You're gonna lay them right here on that desk. Oh, I swear I fixed this. Oh, you stupid thing. Oh, well.
Yeah, since you can't really see it, we're just gonna take a little break.
No.
Get fixed it again.
You're alright. Write this part. Ignore those others down there. Ignore this, ignore that.
That's how
I think
you
it's on the
keep-
next slide. I must have, I erased them and it must not have erased.
That's how you keep people awake.
So annuities. An annuity is like a retirement account or some kind of account that you put money into equal times. You keep depositing money into it over a period of time. This is more of the stuff that I'm sort of interested in right now. I know you guys don't care, but when you get to be my age, you will care. And I hope you start caring when you're your age, because then you won't be stupid like me and get to be my age and think, oh crap, I should have started a long time ago.
My grandpa says that by the time I'm old enough, an annuity wouldn't even mean anything anymore. He thinks it's like he thinks like, we don't ever see any money that goes into it anyway. That's what he says.
Now, with Social Security, which is sort of like that, that's sort of the same idea.
Yeah.
That might be true, but it depends on what you actually, where you're putting it at.
Yeah.
Just gotta be careful. See that? That's magic.
I was ready to right.
Can I take like a 2-minute break and stand up? That was long.
Yeah, go ahead. Hurry. So an annuity, an account in which someone deposits an equal amount of money at equal periods or equal intervals of time. The annuity that I started here at school, they take out so much per month. I get paid twice a month. They take out a certain amount each month. And they put it into the annuity account. I will, because I didn't do my homework this time, I left my book laying here at school, and I planned on doing a whole lot more for annuities, trying to figure stuff out and give it to you. And then I got home and looked at my bag, and my book wasn't in there, and it made me mad, and I couldn't remember the title of it, because these people here at school named it Transitions Math instead of naming it what the book title was. I couldn't look it up online because I never look at the front of the book.
Okay, so this is transition.
This is Transitions Math, but the book's called something different.
Business and personal finance.
And I couldn't remember it to look it up and get to the book so I could look up stuff. I promise you that next time we'll talk a little more about annuities than we're going to talk about them today, and I'll try to give you more than what this book gives you. Because again, this book sort of, it's dumbing things down too much for me. All right? It's telling just the basic idea. Oh, this is an annuity. You put money into it every so often. Now I know that. Now tell me what else, what's about an annuity? You know, what is it? Do I have to pay taxes on it? Do I have to, when do I pay taxes? I shouldn't say do I have to pay taxes on it, because guess what money you pay taxes on? Everything. Okay, at some point, you're going to pay taxes on everything, all right? Some accounts, and I can't remember for sure with annuities, I'm pretty sure that the annuities, when they take out the money from my check, I don't pay taxes on it. So they take out that money and they put it in this account before they take out taxes, all right? So annuities, that's a good thing about annuities, is it's money that's taken out and it doesn't get taxed right away. Now the bad thing is, when I retire and I start to draw out this annuity, guess what I got to pay on it? Taxes. And there's some plans where you don't have to pay taxes on it. You have it taken out and you put it away, and the government set up special things, and you don't have to ever pay taxes on it.
I found out yesterday, anything like, if you win like gambling or whatever, like anything over like $1,100, you have to claim all your taxes. And then,
I think it's over $500.
Just like when someone wins like $1 million, they only get like a good 400, 500,000.
right. You gotta win.
I still wouldn't complain,
what you
but
make
I mean,
and they should not get anything.
So now, I don't want to say the good thing, but the other thing with that, if you're playing those silly scratch-off tickets and the pick three and all that stuff, and you save all your tickets and all your little slips of paper and stuff, at the end of the year, you can also deduct some of that as gambling losses. All right?
Dude, I'm gonna start doing that.
I ain't gonna lie.
I'm not gonna go a ton to buy my car.
So Michael's gonna be in there saying, you know what, I'm gonna spend this $1,000 on these stupid scratch-off tickets.
Yeah, maybe I'll make another like 1,005.
Even though I'm gonna lose my butt, because if the government was gonna make it so I would win,
Everybody be doing it.
everybody'd be doing it.
Exactly.
I have
That's what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I'll buy one ticket, and if I win, I'll buy another one. If I win more money, I'll buy another one. But once I lose money, I'm off it. Everybody. One of my friends.
So what could the
I mean, maybe I'll get lucky. Maybe like 3 tickets in a row, I actually win more money than what I spent. You know that?
The highest I've ever won is $3.
All right, two kinds of annuities, two different kinds of annuities. There's an ordinary annuity, and then there's annuity due. Two kinds of annuities.
I'm gonna go buy $3. Mary multiplier.
Gotta find this paper. The road stuck down. Forward.
Easy, I give them.
Play the Who's Your Line or two.
I'm gonna eat steak later.
You win them all.
Makes sense.
What? No.
Give you the whole case.
I'm not.
Buy all the large yourself.
Be like
So many
Rain
scratch
Man,
off
like how to
tickets.
count cards.
Oh yeah.
Rain Man was cool.
That's about so many scratch off tickets now.
That's what. Dude, we get the dollar lotteries where you can win big and stuff. I mean, why not?
Yeah.
They just have a chance, I guess.
Like
very, very,
I only
very,
spent
very,
up to
very
$500 on one
slim
ticket.
chance.
$500 on one ticket.
Like, what are we gonna buy with that dollar anyway? Candy bar.
Yeah. You ain't gonna piss it.
Yeah. And then you can find like your money back. You get 2 candy bars.
Or 5 candy bars. Candy bar had a trip.
Now, we start to get into some of this stuff, and I'm in no way, shape, or form any kind of investment specialist or anything. So, stuff like this, I don't completely and totally understand it. And I understand the difference between these two, and it does make a little bit of difference, and we'll talk about that. But I don't understand why you would do one and not the other, or why there are 2 separate kinds. Well, it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me to have it 2 different ways. Other than one might be more beneficial to the whoever the
And one.
right. One's more beneficial to you, one's more beneficial to the people that you're giving your money to invest.
To the elite.
Right, so an ordinary annuity, an account in which equal deposits are made at the end of each investment period. At the end of each, it's not you write down when you wrote that down? Alright, so you guys are all smarter than that. Kayla, you're smarter than that. I'm gonna come check. I don't believe you.
What?
So at the end of the each period, this is probably what I have. So my money goes into the account, and right before they put my money in the account, what do? They add on the interest. Then they put the money in, and then it's got to go a whole nother period before they add on the money or add on the interest again. All right, that would make more sense to me, because if I put $1,000 in today, and they added the interest on tomorrow, then what could I do? Could draw that money out and earn that money even though it wasn't in there the whole period. So this makes more sense to me. This one here, an account in which equal deposits are made at the beginning of the interest period, and you start earning interest immediately. All right, that makes sense as long as you're doing what kind of interest? When's it got to be compounded? Daily. All right, not quarterly, not annually, anything like that. So if I'm putting money in and they're telling me, hey, yeah, it's going to be compounded once a year, and I say, okay, here's my $1,000, and then I go back the next day and they say, okay, you got $1,005 in there because we compounded the interest yesterday. Well, I'm probably going to pull that out and say, great, give me my $1,005. It only took me a day to earn that. All right, instead of a whole year. So ordinary annuity, annuity due, 2 different kinds. Here we're going to do this. I'm going to write this stuff down, sort of show you how to do this. This is if you're dealing with an ordinary annuity. Ordinary, I spelled it wrong. You probably want to write this down. This is going to tell you the steps, the process to figure out how much interest you're earning on this annuity. The first one. First thing you got to do, find number of periods. Remember your number of periods? That's sort of your end. But you got to find the number of periods. So you might have to take, let's say it's quarterly. If it's quarterly, what's in? 4. But if we're doing it for 5 years,
You gotta take how many months?
you got to take the 4 times the 5, and you get 20. so I probably don't want to write this in here. You want the total number of periods. Find the total number of periods. So we might write it down like this: N times years. If we're doing it daily, if it's compounded daily, what's N going to be? 365, and then let's say we're leaving it in there for 2 years, we take 365 times 2. All right? That's the first thing. We got to find that total number of periods. Next thing, find interest rate per period. We did this on all the formulas. And all that means, all you're doing on that is you're taking the rate, the R, and you're dividing it by N. R divided by N. So the rate divided by how many periods in a year or whatever you're dealing with. Next thing, find your number from chart. The chart this time is the A12 chart. Everybody remember that one? Remember the A12 chart? Probably not, because you haven't seen it yet. You might want to write on this one. It already says at the top, but this is the one that deals with annuities. Might want to write on the others to make sure you remember what they deal with.
That's good crap out of me.
So this one goes with annuities. So you're going to find your number from this chart. This is sort of like the one that we had a few days ago. Notice it's got rate per period, and then it's got your N over here. How many total periods? You're going to find that number. So you're going to use your rate per period. You're going to use your R over N. You're going to use that number. And your number up here, your total periods. So use the numbers that you got from 1 and 2 and look on the chart to find your number. That's an R and an N, not that stupid straight mark going up through there. Number 4, next thing you do, you're going to find your FB, or you're going to use this formula. FB, this stands for future value. Future value. FB stands for future value. Well, FB is just the same thing. It's like the A that we've been dealing with, the amount, same idea. So FB, your future value, equals P times the chart number that you just found. Principal times the chart number. So that's basically the same thing. Alright? The only difference is this time we got to find these two first before we use the chart. Then we take principal times that chart number. What do we do to find the interest? Just subtract it. So interest equals your FV minus your principal. FV minus the principal. that make sense? Think you can handle that? Sort of same thing that we were just doing. Alright? Little extra added in. You gotta find the total number of periods, which is just how many periods in a year times how many years you're doing it. Now you gotta remember, if we're doing it for 6 months and it's quarterly, then how many years are we doing it for? If it's 6 months. Half a year, 0.5. Alright, so we might have to do that, something like that. If it's compounded daily, then our N is 365. And our years might be something like 42 out of 365. And what's going to happen with the 365s? They're going to cancel out, right? And you're left with just 25 or whatever. Next one for an annuity due. So I spelled it wrong again. Annuity due for the other kind of annuity. First thing you're going to do, find the FV for ordinary. So you're going to find the FV for an ordinary annuity. That's from the previous formulas that we just got done doing, previous slide. So all that stuff that we just did before, if it's an annuity due, you got to do all that stuff and find that FV. Does that make sense so far? So you're going to do, if it's an annuity due, you're still doing the same 4 steps that we did on the other one. But then once you're done with that, you're going to take that FV times, this is the formula for it, 1 plus the rate per period. Can't spell. That's going to equal your amount, or your future value. So you take the FB that you found up here for an ordinary one, then you multiply that times 1 plus the rate per period. Remember, this rate per period is R divided by N. R divided by N. So if we have 10% and we're doing quarterly, we take 10% divided by 4. That's all this says. It says the same thing. I just wrote it out a little more, thinking it'd be better to explain it to you a little more thorough than what they do. Future value of an annuity due is the future value of an ordinary annuity times 1 plus the rate period, or rate per period. All right, your assignment's on page 237, 3 through 13. 237, 3 through 13. Use that chart